Hello, I'm Pamela Davis. Welcome to episode 160 of the Well Done Life podcast. Hello, and welcome back to episode 160 of the Well Done Life podcast. I'm your host, Pamela Davis. If you are new here, hey, how are you? Welcome. I am so glad that you're here with us this week. If you've been here before, you guys know the deal. I love you deep. Thank you so much for continuing to rock with me. I couldn't do this without you, and I really appreciate your support and encouragement on this journey. Before we get started with this week's episode, I really want to make sure I lay the foundation. Again, this is one of those things where if you've been here before, you guys probably can recite this with me. But the Well Done Life podcast is built on two very important foundations, and that is clarity and love. Clarity is really straightforward. It is all about making sure that you understand that I created this brand and this podcast because I believe that women are the foundation of society. I think we need more places and spaces where we can be our most authentic selves, where we can learn, share, and grow together. So that is why I created this space. So welcome. And then one of the things that is also key foundation for me, and it is a part of how we build what I like to deem this house, this safe space. And it is actually one of my favorite things is love. I love love. I believe in love. Love is the root of everything that we will do here in this space. And because of that, I always like to make sure that before we really dive into any topics, I spend some time praying for you. And I really believe that when two or more people come together in prayer, our prayers are magnified. So I like to make sure that I send you prayers every week. And of course, since we're talking about love, I'm going to start there because I think we all need a little bit more love. It has just definitely, it's a time out here. Like it has been an amazingly fast, wonderful summer, but you know, a lot of us have been going through, like I like to call these Jumanji level life events and trying to do our best. And we need moments where we can just feel like we're going to be able to fall apart and we can't. But I want you to know that while you are going through that and you can't fall apart, that you are loved from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, and that you're not alone. There are a lot of us going through these things. We are all trying to make it and do our best, take care of everybody, have glowing skin and a good personality, and live our best lives while trying not to fall apart. And one of the only things that's keeping us together is love. So I want to make sure that you know that you are loved and that you feel love. And I hope and wish and pray for you to have as much love as possible. And I'm talking that good reciprocal love, y'all. I keep talking about that. And believe me, I'm ministering to myself, not just you when I'm talking about it. It is so important that we allow ourselves to be in spaces where we can receive good reciprocal love because it is out there. We deserve it. We deserve people to pour into us the way that we pour into them. And so I'm sending good energy and healing and prayers for you to have that because right now it is essentially needed. And along that line with prayers of love, I want to make sure that you do have peace. Again, Jumanji leveled events, peace is hard to come by, but I want you to make sure that you are carving out time for yourself. Moments where you can sit in the stillness of your mind and your thoughts, which is one of the hardest things to do because that's where all of our feelings dwell. That's where the source dwells. And it opens us up to so many things outside of obviously having to feel all the things that we might be experiencing. It also allows us to tap into peace because when we let go of the things that we are carrying and surrender, we allow ourselves to be open to peace. And so I hope that you are giving yourself those moments because they're essential. I mean, life is still going to life. We're still going to be out here doing all the things. And I want us to undo all of the things, but I want to make sure, excuse me, that we are carving out moments for peace because peace is essential. If you are not at peace in your spirit, in your soul, it will not matter how much you're able to accomplish, all the things that you're able to do, you will still not be satisfied. You will still not be able to really enjoy it. You won't have the full perspective that you deserve because you're unsettled. So give yourself a moment to settle. to regulate. And we've talked about regulation before. It's, being able to dial into our emotions and help make sure that we're managing our emotions in a sense that is healthy, so that we are giving ourselves peace and space to just be still, to be calm in our body, in our mind, in our soul, in our spirit, because it all works together. And when we are able to do that, we give our body the rest that it needs, the grace that it needs to be able to go to the next thing. And we need to be able to set ourselves up to go to the next thing, because again, we are recovering A-type personalities out here trying to live our best life and achieve all the things. So we have to have peace. We essentially need love. And we also need courage. And that's my third prayer for you. I'm wishing you courage. And when I say that, it's not in a sense of, something dramatic that you're facing. I want you to be able to have the courage to face yourself, the courage to, again, grant yourself that grace to sit in stillness, that courage to put you first above other people when they're trying to pull on your energy in ways that don't align with where you are at the moment. Have the courage to say no. Have the courage to put yourself first. Have the courage to speak your mind and to mean what you say. And, don't be afraid of how it comes out. I know today I had a moment where I was direct, and I felt like afterwards I needed to kind of like check my tone. So I checked my tone with my colleagues, because I want to be direct, because I just feel like we don't have time to play around, but I never want to be mean. And they were like, oh no, they didn't feel that way. But I think for myself, looking back on me, even having that moment, that was a kind of a glimpse of who I used to be. That was a moment where I wasn't granting myself the grace to stand in my truth, to be honest, to stand up for what I believed in that moment. I second guessed myself because I wanted to make sure that I was pleasing. And that is not my responsibility. And I had to stand in the courage to understand that that's not my responsibility, because I know my intention is always going to be to come from a place of love, to come from a place of positivity. And so if I know my intention, then why am I questioning how my words and my act came out? Because I know that I acted impeccably. And so that was just, when I think about it, like I said, just a moment of me having to catch myself still healing and still needing to remember how important it is to have courage to be able to speak about the things that we need, to speak about the things that we don't like, to put ourselves first, to put the needs of our teams first and of our families first, and not really worry about trying to take care of everybody. And just knowing that I was doing it from a right place, and knowing that you're doing it from a right place should help us be able to be more aligned and more fulfilled in our lives, as well as toward our goals. So I'm saying all that to say I'm wishing you courage. I'm praying for you to have the courage to choose you, and to choose you knowing that you can stand in your truth impeccably, and that it can be received without someone feeling ill about it. And it can be received without you having to second guess who you are or how you came across about it, because we need more instances where we stand in the courage of who we are, and in order to live our truest, most actualized self. And wrapping up my prayers, I always pray this prayer because I think it's so important, but I'm sending you prayers of abundance. And when I say abundance, obviously, I do want you to have financial blessings. I'm definitely praying for that for you, because I want you to be a blessing to other people, but I want you to be abundant in your spirit. The moments that you are able to stand in courage, the moments that you're able to find peace, the moments that you're surrounded in love, those are things that contribute to abundance in your spirit. And it is so important, because there is not enough money in the world that is going to make you spiritually abundant. Now, obviously, financial abundant, we all want to be financially abundant so that we can be a blessing to other people. But to be abundant in your spirit, to have that type of energy, that is true wealth, because it radiates it's throughout your entire being. And those moments of abundance are the ones that carry us through the darkest times, because you got to grind hard sometimes to get that cash. You got to go through some things. Sometimes you have to build yourself back from rock bottom sometimes in order to create a cycle of abundance, because it's a mindset shift. I mean, you have to learn how to make money work for you versus you working for money. So it's a whole lot of work that goes into being able to create financial abundance, to be able to attract financial abundance. I mean, that's a whole mindset shift. But even then, in that attraction, you have to understand that your spirit needs to be fed just as much as you are trying to line your pockets. And so it is very important that you create those space, those opportunities, those moments, that you value those people who feel like sunshine, and create spiritual abundance. Make sure you are surrounding yourself in good, positive energy, and that you are being a good, positive source, because what you give out is what you give back. So those are my prayers for you this week. I hope you feel the love that I have in my heart for you. I am recording on Thursday, July 27th at 10:56 p.m. And I am just really glad to be here. It has definitely been quite a week. I just don't even know what to say. It has just been quite a week. But we'll talk a little bit more about that. Before we kind of like a dive in, I definitely want to take a moment to talk about and just thank you guys for your support of episode 159, The Road to Rooted is Bittersweet, with Diana Alendrina. And if you have not had a chance to check it out, I hope you do. I will make sure it is linked in the show notes. It was an amazing episode, and I truly thank Diana for giving me that space to speak with her and to be able to be so open and so vulnerable, and just to share so much of her journey and just how she's moving forward in her new space of being rooted. And so I definitely hope that you guys will check it out, as well as I'm also going to put the link to her first book, Agraduce, which is a book of poems and prose, which is just simply beautiful. And I definitely have references, obviously, to that book in the show. But I definitely feel like last week's episode really teed up this week's episode. And I didn't even realize it at that time. I really didn't. Because one of the things that Diana said that was so impactful in that episode was how a lot of times as we are going through, life, we don't realize how tender we really are. And that's been sitting in my spirit all week. And it's funny because right now I'm feeling very tender. And it's been a good week, but it's been extremely hectic. And there's been just so much. But I felt this like tenderness in my spirit. And when I say tender, it's not like I'm hurting. I don't feel hurt in any way. I just feel like I'm a little exposed. Like I'm a little just not fully 100% in my spirit. Like I don't feel like I need Calgon, take me away. I do feel like I probably need a massage and some self-care. So I have some things lined up for me this weekend, which I'm really excited about. And I do feel like I need a little more affection right now. Like I need some hugs and some love and some kisses, and I asked for that. And I'm putting out good energy to receive that back, so I'm very excited about that. But I just feel like I'm tender, and I wanted to talk about this, especially because this is the last episode in July, and this is the halfway point. We have done these first 6 months of the year like a whirlwind, and it has been an amazing 6 months. I mean, this is my golden renaissance, and my arms are up, my 50th year. And for me to say that this 50th year has been anything less than amazing would just not even really give the grace and reverence to what it has been. And I give all glory to God for getting me to this point, for allowing me to feel the way that I feel at this point. Because yes, I feel tender, but I feel like I have done the work. Like I've been on the journey. I mean, y'all have been with me and you guys have heard me talk about how I try to hold myself accountable to the things that I am leaving behind in this next decade of my life and how intentionally I'm moving because I'm serious. I'm not playing about me. You know, some people take my kindness to think like, oh, you know, she's, you know, I might not be serious. Don't let the smooth taste fool you. I am not playing about this next 10 years of my life. Like I'm serious about it. And I'm not acting like it's over after 60, but I'm going to definitely feel a lot different at 60 than I feel at 50. And I feel amazing. And I'm not saying I'm going to feel bad. I'm just, like I said, I think it's time that we have to be very intentional. And we've had this conversation. And it doesn't matter what stage of life that you're in, it's just about deciding that you are going to be very intentional about who you are to be and don't play about you because you don't have time and life is short and why would I sit by? Why would you sit by and allow yourself not to operate at your best vibrational level so that you could just get by? This is that we're past the time of just getting by. This is the season of our lives where we live the life that we dreamed of, the life that we manifested, and we truly recognize the power that is within us and the power of our thoughts and our energy and our tongue. I mean, that's why it's so important to be impeccable. I mean, there's just so many things I can say about the strength of us. And so in that strength, in this power, we have to recognize there are going to come moments where we feel tender. And I'm sitting in a moment of tenderness. And like I said, it's not about sickness. I'm healthy, honey. I went to the doctor today. I got like the best report I've had in years. Like, I mean, the doctor was like, wow, you're in amazing shape. And I am grateful because I'm not playing about me. And of course, you know, they always say, got to lose a couple pounds. And I'm going to work on it. And I'm going to take care of myself because health is wealth. But physically, I feel amazing. Emotionally, I feel good, but I feel tender. And with that tenderness, that means that I kind of feel like I need to take this time as we are wrapping up this month and as I'm thinking about going into these next few months of the year and rounding out 2023 how I want to be. I have to recognize and really think about the moments where I feel tender. And when you feel tender, it may feel different for everybody else. But like I said, for myself, I just feel like I need a little bit more love. You know, I'm in this season of learning how to receive. We've talked about that. You know, I'm normally the giver. And I know that there are a lot of you out here who are givers. But in order for us to move to this next level of abundance that we are striving for, we have to learn how to be receivers. And when we are learning how to be receivers, you know, it's kind of hard because we're always used to being the one who is thoughtful. We're always used to being the one that, you know, goes above and beyond. Sometimes now we have to learn how to pull back. And that's okay because when you're in a season of tenderness, you know what? That's the perfect time to learn how to sit back. I mean, and when I say sit back, it's not trying to set anybody up for failure. It's not trying to wait and see who's going to come through, who's going to be able to take care of you. I think it's a season of being able to honestly stand in our emotions and let people know when we're struggling. And we've talked about it before, you know, having the courage to be able to, you know, speak about the things that we need and to ask for what we want and to speak impeccably when we desire them so that we can get it. It takes a lot. It's not easy because when you're the giver, you're so used to just doing and doing and doing that just to take those moments to be able to ask somebody takes a lot of courage. And we don't give people a lot of credit about that sometimes. You know, we want to say, oh, they act like they got it all together. They don't need anybody. But there's always sometimes a lot of different layers behind it. And for me, as I've been on this journey of healing and growing and where I am now, I have to admit, I'm proud to say that I feel like I can speak what my desires are. And I'm not waiting for people to get it or don't get it because I feel like I have the right people in my life that I know that if I'm asking, I will receive the tenderness and care that I need because they know my people, they know me. And they are ready to give me what I need because they're just as equally committed to their journeys and understand how they're growing and healing as well. That it's just like a mutually reciprocal space. And that's pretty different because I wasn't always in those places and spaces. And that's not shade to anybody. I think that's just, where we all were at that particular point in time on our life journey. But now at this level of life and all the seasons that we have gone through, I notice now it's about learning how to pour into people. It's about learning how to, really give people good, positive energy, how to speak life into each other. So it makes it a perfect season for learning how to receive. It's just a matter of having the courage enough to be vulnerable and to be open to say, I need love. I do. I need a little love. I need a little care. I need some affection. And so that's where I'm at. And I look at it going into this end of month because I'm like, wow, I've done all these amazing things and I've been surrounded by all these amazing people. And I'm going into this next season of this year and I have so many other amazing things coming. And I'm truly opened and blessed and grateful. And it helps sustain me in this moment of being able to be tender, but it's also teaching me and reminding me that it is important to have grace even more so now in this season of tenderness, because I'm not the only person out here doing all these things. I'm not the only person out here feeling this pressure. It's funny, today I was on social media earlier and I saw a post and it just hit me so well to my soul because I was like, oh my God, this person is going through exactly how I feel. And I'm like, I'm not alone. I'm seen. And it's by this gentleman that I follow, Cool Urban Hippie. I follow him on Instagram and I'll make sure I link his profile. But the post essentially says, I feel like everyone is holding it together as best as they can right now. But really, we just want to take a moment to completely fall apart and not have it together just for a moment. And that's why and when it hit me, when I read it, I was like, yes, this is me. And I shared it on my profiles. Of course, I took a screenshot because that's one thing about me too. I have like in my phone, these screenshots of all these different quotes that I just, kind of speak to me and just kind of help me as I'm moving through. That's another way that I do to kind of create a positive space for me, because whenever I'm in those cycles where I'm feeling tender, I'm feeling unsure, I'm feeling afraid, I'm flying too close to the sun, as I like to say, and I just need an extra boost real quick, I go there. But essentially, I was like, wow, I'm not the only person. Like, everybody is out here feeling tender. And I'm so glad that he said that, because we are all in this magnificent season. All of us out here trying to do everything that we can and accomplishing it. Like, it's a beautiful feeling. Like, we're outside, living our lives, traveling, having family time, just doing everything. And it's just such a great time. But all of that going, all of that movement, all of that progression, all of that stress, all of this Jumanji level life events that we are facing is going to make us tender. And we want to have moments where we can fall apart. But for many of us, we can't. Like, I would love to sit up here and say, y'all, like, I'm tender, but I've had like a good, like, old school snotty booger snot cry. Like, I haven't. Nope, haven't. And I just thought about it, like, do I want to cry? And I'm like, maybe, I don't know. And I know that probably sounds confusing, especially from me telling you that I feel tender, I need more affection, I need all the support and all these things. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard to take that moment. We want a moment, but it's like, how do you get it? What does that moment look like to you now? And so, like I said, for me, it's like, okay, I need some self-care. I don't necessarily want to sit up and cry. I'm not ready. And maybe if I do, I'll hit it later, probably because I'm not thinking about it and it might hit me, because a good cry is essential. Like, I don't care what anyone says, you shouldn't cry. Yeah, you shouldn't do a lot of things, but a good cry sometimes can really help it better. Like a good booger snot, tear jerking cry and a nap can reset many things for a lot of us. And I've been there, done that, and it definitely has. But in this case, it's like, I just feel like I need to be tender with me. So for me, being tender with me because I'm feeling tender means that I need to create a moment of self-care. So I'm going to give myself some self-care this weekend. I booked, I wanted to get my nails done and get my feet done and just set up some time for me, have a little self-care day, a little lunch for me that doesn't involve anybody else. And I'm going to do that. And it doesn't mean that I don't love people. It doesn't mean that my village can't support me. It doesn't mean that if I don't send the text out, it's like, because I literally could put a text out, probably like a bat signal, and my people would be there for me and I love them and appreciate them for it. But I need a moment. And so that's not what I need. I need this moment. And so I'm creating it for me, and I'm going to be tender with me because I feel like that's what I want to do. I want to nurture me. I want to love on me. I want to, be gentle with me. So I'm going to do that for me because I haven't done that in a long time. And that's where I think sometimes when we're feeling tender, we have to create those spaces for us. Maybe for you, that might look like a massage. Maybe for you, like I said, it might look like a booger smile cry and a nap. And if so, my girl, go do that. But give yourself the space first to acknowledge that you're feeling tender and not try to talk yourself out of it. Because that's another thing that we do. We try to talk ourselves out of it. Like, oh, I'm going to shake this off. It's just, girl, I'm just feeling like this today. No, it might not be just a today thing. It just might be something that you're going through. And it doesn't mean that life is wrong. It doesn't mean that you're, overly stressed out. Like I'm stressed out, but I'm not like uber stressed out, but I'm stressed because I had a hard day. But I was like, I'm feeling tender. I need to take care of me. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So give yourself permission to feel it and don't try to talk yourself out of it. Feel it. And then, like I was saying, figure out what you need in that particular moment to help you through the tenderness. Because I'm not expecting that after I go and get my nails done on Sunday, grab a little lunch, feel really good, whatever, the world is going to be right. I'm not. But I feel like it's just going to be something that I'm going to need to be cognizant of and treat myself accordingly. So with that means that I'm recognizing that I'm feeling tender. So I'm going to be very open and honest about my emotions and my needs. And I'm going to treat me with love and with empathy and gentleness. I'm going to treat me the way that I treat other people. And, for a lot of us, again, especially those of us learning to receive, that is really hard because, again, we're so used to doing and being everything for everybody else that we forget that we have to be everything for us. So I am in the season where I'm learning I have to be everything from us because I'm tender. And I'm not going to feel bad about it. I'm going to stand in. I'm going to prioritize time for me. I'm still going to do everything I need to do for my family and support my friends and do the projects, all of those things. But I'm going to give myself grace to understand that there are going to be times where I need to step away. I'm going to give myself grace to understand that there are going to be times where I need to just sit in stillness for a few moments to process how I feel, to breathe. If I have to go take a walk or a drive, I'm going to do that. If I need to go get my nails done, massages, if I need to go on a trip, I will do whatever I need to do in this particular point in time that I deem necessary to take care of me in this season of tenderness. Because I know that, yes, I am tender. I'm emotional. I'm in need, but I'm not needy. And my needs don't make me needy. And that's another thing that we have to recognize. Like our needs don't make us needy. And at this level of life that we're doing, this level of healing that we have been doing, we have to stop our mindset from believing for some reason that if we articulate that we need something, we're needy. Alex L was actually talking about that as well. You can tell I was like scrolling through a little bit of social media a lot today. Like, again, I tell you guys all the time, social media is like my jam in between meetings sometimes. Like I will get on here and just mindlessly scroll because I always feel like there's a word for me. And one of my favorite posts that Alex does is the older I get, the more I realize post. And she has like all of these like slides that come through and she talks about just certain things that she is realizing on her journey. For her, it's about creating a space to be nourished and to be sustained and whole. And if you haven't heard of her, I'm going to have her site linked as well. Definitely one of my favorite thought leaders. I've talked about her numerous times on the podcast. She has definitely been a major influence to me on my healing journey. And I'm very grateful for her sharing her knowledge and energy with me. But one of the things that she said in her slide, I'm actually going to read two of them, but one that she said is, the older I get, the more I realize that I can have needs. I'm unlearning that it's needy to want my needs met. I am learning to embrace that it is perfectly okay to seek support. I don't have to carry it all alone. Healthy relationships are built on mutual support. I'm paying close attention to the connections in my life that offer reciprocity, emotional safety, and care. And I cannot sum up anything better that personifies why you have to have courage to acknowledge that you're a tender. Because we deserve reciprocity. We deserve emotional care. We cannot continue to be these people who are just pouring into other people and expect us to be able to receive blessing, because you're not giving the opportunity for reciprocity to take place. We're not giving the opportunity for people to show us that they care. We're not giving that opportunity for us to open ourselves to even more abundance, because we're constantly pouring out. You're pouring out. How can you get more back in? Because you never know in those seasons and times where you're needy, where you're feeling needy, and you are tender and you're growing and you're allowing someone to pour into you, how much more you learn, how much more you take in, how much more you expand. And in that season of expansion, that allows you even more opportunity for abundance. That allows you more opportunity to share, because you're getting filled back up as you're pouring out. It's not just a one-sided thing. So definitely being in the season of tenderness, I feel like maybe this is a season where God is going to expand me, because I am definitely in this season where I'm doing things now where I'm flying close to the sun. And I've recognized that I'm going to fly close to the sun, and I've made peace with the fact that I might get burned, and I think I might be okay with it. Or actually, I am okay with it, because I know that I'm going to be tender with me. I'm going to take care of me. I'm going to pour into me so that I can heal up and keep going. And so give yourself that opportunity so that you can recognize what you need and be okay with that. Stand in the courage of your tenderness so that you can expand and grow. And so, yes, that was one like I saw. And the other one that I said I would definitely want to read is that kind of goes along with it is, the older I get, the more I realize that I don't want to be last on my list. I deserve to take up intentional and meaningful space in my own life. I cannot be committed to serving others if I am constantly depleted and drained. I want to show up full and nourished in my relationships, not exhausted. Prioritizing myself has to play a part in my life. And that again speaks into being tender. Because again, if you are prioritizing you, if you're being gentle with you, if you're being nourishing with you, if you are, really prioritizing that space, you're not going to be last on your list. You're going to give yourself the energy, the love, the support, the care that you need so that you can be first. Because I've said it before, I'm going to say it again, especially for anyone who is the head of a household, leading their household. You could be a wife, it doesn't, mother, single mother, it doesn't matter. If we're not happy as women in a household, nobody else is going to be happy in that household. Nobody. Like, we set the tone, we are the vibe, we are everything. So it is critical, mission critical, that we prioritize ourselves at all time. Like, I know I have said that before. I will keep saying it because unfortunately there are people who are still not doing it. And sometimes, I'm not going to lie, I slip into that pattern where I'm not doing it either, because I'm trying to be everything to everybody, that I stop being everything I need to be to me. And that's where I get into trouble. So I'm trying to avoid the trouble, and I want to help you avoid the trouble. I want you to recognize that we're at that critical mass point where it's like, you got to stop. You got to stop not prioritizing you. You have to stop trying to be everything to everybody. We have to sometimes let people be exactly who they are. And when they show us who they are, we have to believe them, no matter how much it hurts. And we have to understand that sometimes you have to love from a distance, but we also have to understand that we have to give people who we feel are a chance, who have shown us that they have the qualities that we need to be able to be a supportive base and unit to us, that they can be reciprocal in their nature to us. We have to give them the chance to show that we can receive. We have to do it not for them, but for us, because we deserve to be in the space of receiving. We deserve to be in the space of fullness and love and tenderness, because this is a key to unlocking our next level of abundance. We can't be blessed if we can't take anything in. We can't get more. We can only stay where we're at. And that's okay for some people. If you're comfortable where you're at, cool. But like I said, I know a lot of us are mini A-type personalities out here trying to birth dreams and miracles that we just haven't even scratched the surface of. The only way that we're going to be able to do that is if we are open to receiving. And so in order to do that, we have to do the work. We have to be tender. We have to take care of us. We have to prioritize us. And there's nothing absolutely wrong with it, because when we're happy, everyone's going to be happy. And when we are nourished, when we are tendered and loved and supported, we will be abundant and we will unlock so many blessings. So I really hope that we all give ourselves space and time right now to acknowledge our tenderness. And like I said, not to view it as a deterrent. I'm not viewing it as a deterrent. I'm viewing it as, okay, there's all these things, these beautiful, amazing things that are coming into my life. And I'm very grateful to be at this point, wrapping up July, talking about how I need to just pour into me a little bit more. I just need to take care of me a little bit more. I need to be a little bit more gentler with me so that I'll be prepared for the next level. And so I want you to take a moment while you're home and listening to this to ask yourself, are you feeling tender? And if you are feeling tender, what are you going to do this week? What's one thing that you can do right now that can be sustaining to you, that can help cater to you, that can help you stand in your tenderness and fill you back up so that you can move and keep going into your next level? Because that's where we're at. Like, we've got a few more months left in this year. And we imagine if we've done everything that we have done up until this point, imagine what else could be coming. And if we're feeling tender, we're getting this moment to like really tap into how we're feeling, getting this moment to nourish and love on ourselves and take care of ourselves a little bit better. Maybe we're about to tee up this next season of abundance that's even more amazing. So we need to be ready. Maybe I feel like this is God's way of saying you need to be ready. You need to take this time. The ancestors are telling you, the angels telling you, God is telling you, you need to get ready because I'm going to blow your mind. So I want you to give yourself that space and time to take care of you. Take a moment, dial into you, acknowledge that you might need a little tenderness, that you're feeling a tender. Surrender to that feeling, but put together a plan of how you are going to help nurture yourself. Put a plan of, together of what that looks like and what you need from people. And don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Don't be afraid to be open. Don't be afraid to share your needs because, you have people around you that will support you and encourage you as you are in this season. Give them a chance to show you that, because if you're able to do that for them, why do you think they can't do that for you? Be that person. Open up. I know it's hard. Believe me. I like I said, I'm like sometimes like a broken record. I'm talking to y'all and talking to myself at the same time because I need that reminder sometimes. I'm always, let me just go ahead and handle it. Let me fix it. But maybe sometimes I need to say, you know what? Nah, I can't fix it. And now I need to lean into this person and ask them if they can help me. And sometimes they're going to be able to help us. And sometimes they may not. They may not have the capacity. They just may not be available. But that doesn't mean that they're not there care. That doesn't mean that they don't care. I'm not talking about measuring somebody by the quantity of just one thing. Luckily, my people have been vetted. We are war worn together, war ready. We've been through the tracks. I know who I got around me. And so I know that I can rely on my crew. I'm assuming that you have those same type of relationships. And even if you don't at this point, maybe this is a time for you to cultivate that and maybe look at, where you are and what you need. Because like I told you guys numerous times, you don't have to necessarily cut people off. Your energy changing, you're shifting, your priorities. Sometimes your power and strength will be so much for somebody, your vibe, that they just can't hang because it doesn't align with where they are and they just naturally move away from you. So don't get out here starting to post, I'm cutting people off. It's too early for that. Wait until Christmas. That's what a lot of people do. Wait until Christmas going into the new year. And I'm totally just kidding about that. But I don't really want anybody to have to do that. Right now, it's just about tapping into you. It's about standing in courage to admit that you need to be a little bit extra nourishing to you. It's about looking at everything that you accomplished over these past few months. We're halfway through the year and you've been able to do all these things. Give yourself grace and empathy. Celebrate your wins, but then figure out, okay, I'm still winning. I'm feeling good, but I need to take a little extra better care of me right now. What does that look like for me? And this is my plan to execute it and how often I'm going to do it. And like I said, maybe it's something that you do daily. It might be something you do weekly. It might be something you do monthly. That really is dependent upon where you are in the journey. And this is your individualized journey, but just do something because you're teeing yourself up. Remember, for a whole new level of abundance. God has something greater for us. I really, truly believe these next couple of months are about to blow our mind. And so I know I'm not the only one out here hustling for it and doing big things. So I'm sending you lots of love and good juju. I want us to walk in our tenderness together. And I'm sending you so much love and prayer. So that is my topic for this week. We're tender, but we're tender together. And we are about to create something beautiful for ourselves and for others. So can't wait to see what you guys do. I can't wait to share more with you guys. I have a lot going on. I really do. In the midst of all this crazy adult level, Jumanji level adulting that I am doing, I am really working on some things with the podcast and some stuff. So hopefully I will be able to share soon once I have everything continue to be vetted out. But I really would love to continue to learn more about you guys. I've been very blessed to have connected recently with some other amazing ladies. We have some amazing people coming on the podcast. I'm so inspired by all of the things that people are doing, how they're betting on themselves, how they're taking care of themselves. So don't stop. Don't stop. Just take care of yourself. The world needs you. There's just so much greatness in each and every one of you. So I'm very grateful that, again, we got a chance to chat tonight. Believe me, this made my day better. And then I had a group phone call earlier and I talked to my friend, one of my closest friends earlier, and she's doing good. It's just, I feel blessed to be surrounded by people who are just doing the work and trying to take care of themselves, even in their states of tenderness. So again, this is a season of tenderness for us all, but just know that you're not alone and that you are loved and supported. I will make sure that I put all of my information in the show notes. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me. You guys know where I'm at. I definitely ask that you would please like, share, subscribe, and review the podcast. I know I'm a little sketchy on the reviews, but I promise I'm gonna get a little bit better. I really am, because I love when you guys send me notes. Those are the things that you were impacted, that something touched you and inspired you. That makes me know that this is my purpose all the time. And I truly do this from my heart. So thank you all so much. So I'm going to stop because I'm going to get a little teary. I'm tender. Remember, I'm tender. But anywho, I hope you guys are having a restful day. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And I cannot wait to talk to you guys next week. I'll be back with a brand new episode. Please take care of yourselves and each other, and we will talk again soon.